So you came here for nothing. He doesn't know what to do. Russ is going to put it together. All I do is yeah, we need to play. I played with Brian. He came out. Bill came last year, and we got last week. I guess he said, I can play with you the whole time, but I'd like to play 12 hours. I missed something. Good.
No, she met me to Juju's right there, and then you did. You should. Yes, I got it.
So pay up. Pay up. Pay up.
I don't know where I'm at.
Coach, you're gonna have a bodyguard.
I think he was trying to juju on the beat or something. Is that what you were doing?
I don't know. They're just like, hey, go Juju up there. They'll get Dabo Juju with you. Okay.
Oh, man. Not today. Not today.
Well, maybe your son.
Maybe next week. Not today. All right. Ready?
Ready, go.
Okay. Obviously disappointed, coming off of a loss. Very disappointed in that. Been 2 years since we've had a Tuesday press conference around here coming off of a loss, so don't want to make that a habit, that's for sure. But we are excited we get a chance to play again this week. That was one of the things I talked to the team about yesterday. Is last time we lost a game, we had to wait 9 months and stew on it. We actually get to play just about 4 more days, so we're really excited about that opportunity to go play again and play better, try to get back on track and what we want to accomplish. But it's going to be a tough game and a tough task going up to Wake Forest. They are a much improved team. Dave's done a great job up there. They've got some cats in there. Got some guys that are long and athletic. Really done a good job. He's played a lot of freshmen these first couple of years that he's taken over the program, especially last year on offense. They were pretty much all freshmen. And they are much improved. They're 6-4. They're 4-1 at home. And if you really study them, they battled everybody. They have battled everybody. You watch the Louisville game, it was 16-12, I guess, with about 5 minutes or so to go in the game. They get a pick six, block punt, bam, bam, and it got away quick. But they have really, Florida State, same thing. These guys have done a nice job. And again, 4-1 at home, so we know it'll be a tough task. We're going to have to play well. Offensively, much improved from where they were last year. They played a lot of freshmen last year, and now those guys are sophomores, and they're just better. They're more experienced. Their quarterback is a really good football player. He's the leading scorer on the team, and he's also the second leading rusher. He runs the football very well. He's not just a good quarterback runner as far as design quarterback runs. He's an excellent scrambler. That's where he's made some of his biggest runs have come off some scramble disciplined with the pocket and how we get after him, because he is dangerous. I mean, he's got a bunch of yards, and they've had some sacks, and he's still got almost 500 yards of rushing. So really good football player that I'm very impressed with. Their offensive line, they got everybody back, and they're better. And again, played a lot of freshmen in the offensive line last year. Those guys are sophomores, and they have improved tremendously. They want to run the football. They're doing a lot better job throwing the ball this year. Got some good receivers out there, 15, 17, number 1. 15 is a guy that I think has a chance to be a really good player for them. And they've got a big old freshman running back, number 36. He's in there. 32 is also running the ball a lot. He's the and 22 as well. Those guys have kind of combined to have a good rushing attack. They're going to run the power. They're going to run all the zone stuff, the split flow zone, and the orbits and Utahs that come with it, and all the run pass options as well. So, very impressed with them. And the thing that they've probably done the best is they've controlled the clock. In most every game that they've played, they've controlled the clock, and they've done a great job of taking care of the football. And giving themselves a chance. They're very, very good on defense. Defensively, they're top 3, 2, 3, 4 in about every defensive statistic in this conference. And so very good group. Got 7 starters back, 32 sacks on the year. We've got 35. To put that in perspective, I think we lead the conference. Maybe do we lead the conference?
Yeah, with 35.
We lead the conference with 35 sacks, and they're second or third with 32 sacks. So they get after you up front. That number 53 for them is a great football player. He's top 10 in the nation in sacks. Very good player. Again, as I said earlier, they've done a good job of getting some length and some athleticism, some speed, and some size in that defensive line. And they play a lot of guys. They got a lot of depth. If you watch them, they've played and created good depth all year long. Impressed with their secondary. Their safety number 3, he's got 5 interceptions. He's second in the league. But the biggest thing about what they've done defensively is they have created, outside of the sacks, they've created a lot of turnovers. So they're +9 in the turnover margin, and that's somewhere in the top 10 in the nation. They easily lead this conference. And so the combination of what they've done defensively and how they've played offensively and controlling the clock and not turning it over has allowed them to be incredibly competitive with everybody they play. So we're going to have to play well. We know that. We're looking forward to having another opportunity and see if we can get back on track. Obviously, there's a lot on the line for us. We've got a chance to win this division. And the good news is we've got a really good football team. And we're very capable of winning the game, but we're going to have to play well. Wake Forest they're 4-1 at home. They're going to fight with everything they got. We know that. But for us, it's about having a great week, fixing some of the mistakes, learning from some of the mistakes that we made, and getting back on track this week.
Coach, do you expect Mitch Hyatt to start on Saturday?
Not ready to answer that right now. I mean, they're very optimistic. We had practice today, so we said one night last night. I'll be in a little better shape whenever I see y'all again this week. But he's looks good and very optimistic. That's what they tell me. So if he can play, he'll play. If not, he won't. We'll go on the next guy. But hopefully he'll be ready to go.
I know Pollard got a lot of playing time at Doak Campbell, and he and Ingram have played really well the last few games. Do you feel pretty confident in them going on the road as freshmen?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is what I was saying last night on the radio show. That's what's. I mean, we win a game, but there's still a lot of bad. We always have stuff we got to fix and correct and grow from, even when we win. You lose a game, well, everybody just thinks everything's terrible and you stink and you're awful. No, there was a lot of good. A lot of good. Let me tell you what some of that good was. Them 2 freshman tackles played lights out football in Clemson. 2 true freshman tackles. We threw the ball 70 times, had 1 sack. And that number 5 for Pitt is a heck of a player. What was he? He was like top.
He was top 10.
He's top 10 in the nation in sacks coming in here. So and we lost the game, and sometimes we that's all we focus on. But there was a lot of good. There was a lot of good, and those two guys did a fantastic job. You know, Ingram didn't know he was going to start the game. I mean, the only reason he started the game is because Mitch showed up 30 seconds late to our special teams meeting. That's just our rule. That's our rule. And then he got in there and stepped on the back of his heel there, and boy, did a heck of a job, man. I mean, I'm so proud of those two guys. I mean, it's awesome to see guys go in and be prepared and to play well. And you complete 75% of your passes on 70 attempts, and you got 2 freshman tackles. That's pretty good. It's really good. So that was a definite bright spot. So to answer your question, after what I saw last week from those guys, absolutely, I'm very confident. What I've seen in practice every day, because they're not true freshmen anymore. They've had some experience. They've practiced a lot. They've gone through camp. They had spring ball, so they're doing what we thought they'd do.
Did you visit with Jake yesterday?
I did not visit with him yesterday. We just communicated via phone, but I did not sit down with him.
Any idea what his availability is?
I don't.
If you only have Pollard and Ingram next week, who do you have behind?
Oh, we got plenty of options. That's one thing we got is options in that offensive line. We've never been in a better spot in the offensive line as far as the versatility that we have. Hearn plays left tackle. Hearn can play right tackle. Maverick Morris can play right tackle. We've got a bunch of options there. Noah Green is another guy that's a freshman that's capable of going in there and playing, and he's going to be a good player for us. So we got plenty of options. John Simpson can jump in there and guard and allow Hearn to move. So we've cross-trained those guys all year long. Y'all don't always see it on game day, but we do that all the time. Robbie does an excellent job of that in our practices and mixing it up.
With Pollard and Ingram being ready this year, I mean, last year Mitch Hyatt played the whole year as a true freshman. What do you think has been the key to getting these guys ready where they can go play a position like offensive tackle as a true freshman?
Yeah, well, Robbie's a great coach, first of all. He does an excellent job in teaching those guys, and then it's recruiting the right kind of guys. I mean, you got to have it. It takes a tremendous amount of want to on that player's part to put in the work, to prepare, to learn, to develop, to study. I mean, because it's not an easy transition, especially in the offensive line. So, credit those guys for putting in the work. And I think also the fact that they came in here in the spring was huge. So same with Mitch came in the spring, Frew came in the spring, and then Pollard and Ankle both came in the spring. So them getting that whole spring semester and a full summer and a fall camp, allowed them to get a little bit further along than maybe just a true freshman. But then you look at a guy like John Simpson, who did get here this summer. Holy moly, he's going to be a great player, and he's really come on, and again, sometimes y'all see certain things in games, but we see them every day, and just very encouraged. But he's had to put in a lot of work too. But it's everything. It's the physical development, the mental development, the want to, the drive, the passion to be a great player, to go along with having a great coach like Robbie.
As you mentioned, it's been 2 years since you've had to come off a regular season loss. What was the demeanor in the meeting room and on the practice field last night?
Not very happy. That's why we come. We don't really see it, but some of them will roll through here on Sunday. We're here all day on Sunday, so we kind of, we're a bunch of old goats around here. We wallow around in it all day on Sunday. Fight through, grading it, and own it. Understand what we got to do better as coaches, and all that stuff. The players don't come in until Monday. That's their off day on Sunday. Some of them will roll through, and you get a chance to talk to them. But they were very serious, dialed in, frustrated, mad, disappointed about all the emotions that you could that you usually have if something doesn't go your way. You work so hard for it, and it doesn't go your way. There's disappointment. These guys care. They're not just, oh well, heck, lost the game. Well, oh well. They care. They work really, really hard, that way. But we didn't deserve to win. I mean, we were in position to win, didn't win. We didn't deserve to win, they did. They deserved to win the game, they made the plays when they needed to, and they won it. And you tip your hat to them. So, but nothing's changed in that, if we were 10-0 right now, we're a great team. We're 9-1, we're still a great team. And, you know, regardless of what had happened, I will say this, if let's just take one play. I mean, there was a lot of plays, a lot of things, but, if we gave up 4 touchdowns in the red zone. If you give up 3 touchdowns and 1 field goal, you win the game. We had 2 trips in the red zone that we got no points. If you just have one of those, you get a field goal, you win the game. If you get 1 yard, you win the game. There's all kind of things, but if you just get 1 yard and win the game, well, guess what? We won the game, but we still got problems we got to fix. And sometimes, again, like I was saying the other day, prosperity is a terrible teacher. And what I mean by that is, sometimes you need a little pain along the way. A little failure is part of getting better. And they would have shown up yesterday, ready to go, just like they always have. But there was a sense of urgency yesterday that there was a hard edge to it. And I like that. So at the end of the day, it's about how you respond. I mean, whether you win a big game, how you gonna respond the next week? You lose a game, how you gonna respond the next week? That's just what life is about. That's what determines the outcome of anything, is how you respond. So how we respond this week's gonna determine the outcome of Saturday night. We're either gonna be 9-2 or 10-1. It's really not a very simple game. It's not very complicated. So guys were disappointed, but they were eager and ready to get back to work and watch the tape and challenge each other and go get it.
What was the diagnosis on the shovel option, and how does that get corrected?
Yeah, well, I thought Pitt did a great job, first of all. They did an excellent job. We did a lot of different presentations in how they did it. And we did not play with a lot of discipline. We did do a good job with our eyes. And at the end of the day, it falls back on us as coaches. And it's just that simple.
Coach, offensively, do you try to do things different this week to try to take the burden off Deshaun? I mean, he throws 70 passes, 3 interceptions, especially that one in the run zone that really probably hurt you guys at the end of the game. Do you try to feature way more? I mean, what do you try to correct to take the pressure maybe off of him?
Well, it depends on what the defense does. We just try to win. I mean, we had 630 yards of offense, and I guess that's a bad thing. I didn't know does it really matter how you have 630 yards? Does it matter if you run it, throw it? Does that really matter? I don't think so. What matters is getting first downs, scoring points, being great on third down, and we were all those things. We were unbelievable on third down. We lead the conference. We're 50% on third down. We were 12 of 18 the other day. We went up and down the field. It was one of the best offensive performances I've ever been around outside of about 4 plays. And, that was how they were committed to play defense. And, yeah, I mean, if we want to sit there and run into 8 and 9 man fronts, then everybody's going to be saying, why don't you throw the ball? You'll be asking me that question. Do we want to throw the ball a little bit more this week, take advantage of those one-on-one opportunities? Why do y'all continue to run the ball in the 8 and 9 man fronts? So, we're just trying to win games. And when you have 630 yards of offense, there's really not a lot to complain about, other than we got to take care of the football. That's the bottom line. So, I mean, and that's not just Deshaun. Deshaun, is a part of it, but it's everybody. We got a tip ball. We got a busted play down there where we're not quite doing what we need to do to space the defense the way we need to, but we've got to make the right decision too. But there was a lot of good, and so it's every week. It depends how they're going to play us. If they're going to line up and play us like Pitt played us, guess what? We're going to do exactly what we did. And if people got to think of that, that's their problem. We got 630 yards of offense. Yes, we need to take care of the football. There's no question about that. up and they play differently toward us and allow us to have an opportunity to create more balance, that's certainly what we want. We definitely want that. But, you know, if you really know what you're looking at, we did exactly what we need to do to give ourselves a chance to win the game. We just didn't. We did not play as well defensively as we played, and we had turnovers. So we got beat.
With Scott Pagano being sidelined, how much does it help that you have a guy like Dexter Lawrence who's playing as well as he has as a true freshman?
Well, it's big to lose Scott. He's a great player. He's one of our main guys in there. He's had a good year. He's a big old physical, strong guy, brings a great presence to the inside, and so it's a big loss. But you know, it hurts our depth. I mean, yeah, it's great to have Dexter, but it's also nice to be able to have a great rotation with those guys. I mean, here's a veteran guy that's played a lot of football. You know, we're going to get him back. He'll be back at certainly for the bowl. He'll be back ready to go, but it's going to be a big loss for us. You know, so the guy that's got to step up for us is Huggy. I mean, he's got to step up in a big way. Him and Jabril going back inside. Jabril's been back inside for several weeks now, but those two guys are going to have to play big for us this week and as we finish the season.
Has the smoke around Clemson affected anybody's, the practice or the player shelter or anything?
No, I mean, we were inside last night. I mean, it's obvious, I mean, you smell it. I hate it for everybody. I think they even canceled some of the rec stuff on campus yesterday, so I hate it for all the students that, you know, missing out on some rec opportunities. But that's crazy what's going on. We just haven't had any rain. You know, and, the wind kicks up and starts pushing that smoke and pushing the fires and stuff. So, but we have not, and we're fortunate because we do have an indoor facility, so it won't impact us as far as being able to practice.
You said in preseason the ACC has gotten better. Is that borne itself out, would you say?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You know, it's like I told y'all last week about Pitt. I said they're a couple of plays away from being 8-1. And, you know, because I've watched every game. And I know exactly what I'm talking about when I looked at. And this is a good football team. Schematically very difficult, physical. And, you know, they lose on the last play to North Carolina, right there at the end against Virginia Tech. I mean, they had some tough, they beat Penn State. So I knew that this was a team that if you don't play well, you've got a chance to get beat. And we've been very good on defense, very consistent all year. That's probably been our most consistent area. But we didn't play well defensively. And then we had, you know, again, the turnovers, and we got beat. They played a heck of a ball game. They played a heck of a game, made a bunch of plays, executed at a high level, and, you know, they're a good team. They're a good team, and Wake Forest is the same. Absolutely, every single week, it is not easy. It's just not. And, you know, I'd love to just mow everybody over every week, but everybody's got good coaches, everybody's got good players, and you know, young people that care about their performance and practice hard. And, you know, it's hard. It's hard. Definitely, it's a tough league, man. It's a tough league. That's why I appreciate winning. You know, I appreciate winning. I don't care how you win. I appreciate winning because it's hard to do. It is hard to do, especially with the consistency that you know, we've had around here. It is not easy.
Considering how the flow of the offense was going on those last two plays, running plays that were stopped, why didn't you call like something with Deshaun to give him an option to run or pass? What did you see that kind of took the ball out of his hands?
We just went with our two calls that we had in that situation that we game planned all week, and didn't work out. They were better than us in that play. I think we've been 100% in our heavy package all year, and now we're 99%. So we didn't get it done. Give them credit. They defeated us. And move on. But that's why, because we work all week, we game plan, and that's what we felt like we needed to do. It didn't work out. So bad coaching on us, because obviously we had a bad plan in that regard.
Coach, after a loss, you're still 1 or 2 or 3 probably hold your own destiny.
Yeah, oh, there's no doubt. I mean, like I said, I mean, that's the good news. The good news is we can get to play again this week. The other good news is we're a really good football team. I mean, I think we're a great football team. But we gotta go finish, and it'll all play itself out. But you're exactly right. There's nothing different for us. We control our destiny. And it wouldn't have been any different if some of those other teams hadn't lost last week. We still control our destiny. So, you know, it is what it is in that regard. It really doesn't matter. All that matters is trying to find a way to beat Wake Forest this week. If we do that, then, you know, we're on track to bigger and better goals.
Along those lines, Ohio State and Louisville are two teams that don't hold their own destiny. This is gonna be a difficult night for the playoff committee to sort of sort all that out. How highly should a conference championship matter when you weigh against teams like Ohio State, Louisville, who might not win one?
It should matter big time. Otherwise, why have one? I mean, it depends on what your record is. I mean, I think you gotta look at the totality. You can't just say, well, they're 7-5, or what it would, no, they're 8-5, and they're the conference champions. Well, okay, great, but they stunk the rest of the time. I mean, you can't put an 8-5 conference champion over whatever, 12 or 11-1 Ohio State or whatever that lost to a really good team somewhere. I mean, that's kind of common sense. I don't think it's really that complicated. But if it comes down and you got, an 11-1 team versus a 12-1 team, and they won their conference championship and played 13 games and beat another really, I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory. It should matter. Otherwise, do away with them. But I think all that stuff works itself out. I mean, there's always all this drama and talk every year, but it really, I thought the BCS got it right every year. And I definitely think the playoffs have gotten it right the last couple of years. I don't think there's been any question about that. But it'll all work itself out the way it's supposed to. You gotta go play, man. Gotta go play. A lot can happen in a week. A lot can happen in a week. All the stuff everybody sits around and talks about, worries about, writes about right now, we just end up ripping it all up next week, because it's a different story. So for us, man, we're just trying to beat Wake Forest.
Jordan Leggett mentioned yesterday that in some ways he felt like the pressure was off, all of the streaks, everything that had been going on, and maybe this team now could refocus. Have you ever seen that or been a part of that in college football, where a loss maybe helps a team out? You never want to lose, but where you
My
kind of
whole
refocus.
life, just my whole life. You know, I think that's a sexy answer after you get beat. You gotta answer the question somehow. You gotta come up with something that sounds good, I guess, but, I don't know anything other than, I mean, I spent 13 years at Alabama. I've been here, this is my 14th year at Clemson. So I don't know anything other than we're supposed to win. And there's pressure to win every week, and I like that type of pressure. I love that. I embrace that. Always have. I love that type of pressure because to me, there's more pressure when you're really not expected to win. To me, there's more pressure that comes with that when you're really not good enough. And you need this to happen, you need that. To me, that ain't the kind of pressure I like. I like the pressure of knowing you got a good team and, hey, you're expected to win. That's all I've ever known. And, you know, my whole life, when we've lost, it's not good, but we've always tried to get better. And, you know, I'll say that for our run here over the last 8 years. When we've lost games, we've responded. We've improved. We've gotten better. The world didn't come to an end. And good Lord of mercy. I mean, was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago, we lost a regular season game down at Georgia Tech when Sean got hurt. And, man, the world was over. I mean, we'll never win another game. How could you win a game with Cole Stout? Oh, no way. And all he did was get MVP of the Russell Athletic Bowl game. You know, I'm thankful that we don't live in that world. You know, we get to do something about it. And that's what we try to do. We just try to respond. You know, try to respond, take action. And that's probably we built this windshield mentality in our program. And that's what we try to live by. What's next? Okay, yeah, matters, what happened, but how do we learn from it? How do we get better? What do we gotta do to give ourselves a chance to win? And that's what we focus on, and the rest of it just doesn't matter. So we lost 2 years ago, where we came back and beat Georgia State, I think, then we beat South Carolina, then we beat Oklahoma, and then we won 14 in a row. And then we lost in the national championship game. Well, we came back, we won 9 in a row. I know that's expected, but it's not easy. And now we lost one. So we got a chance to start a new streak. That's what we'll focus on. Try to get to 1-0 this week.
In the grand scheme of things, I guess the playoffs sort of start this week for you guys, right? Because
Playoffs have been started all year. They really have. That's why everybody says, oh, we need to add 3 more layers of playoffs. I'm like, well, we played 15 games last year. How are we gonna add more games? Something's gotta give. We gotta get rid of something. To me, we play a playoff game every single week. Every week is a playoff game. Because it all matters. It truly matters. It matters how you lose to Troy the second game of the season. It all matters. And I think we got a good system, but for us, every game is a playoff. Every game is the biggest game of the year.
Coach, are you surprised a little bit just how turnovers have been an issue? Because we talked about it at times throughout the year. You're caught off guard because you have so many veterans on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and it's been across the board. And that's what's allowed some of these games to be a little closer than we would like. Again, we've overcome it because defensively we've played pretty doggone consistent, even when we've had games with turnovers. The other night we did. We played not good, so even though you had 630 yards of offense and 42 points, you get beat. And it comes down to losing the turnover margin once again. And so it's just one of those things we got to keep swinging. Keep swinging. We're even. My goal is to be +5 by the end of the year, and there's still a chance. We just keep playing. That's all you can do. It's not a casualness or nonchalantness or guys not having a sense of urgency. It's none of that. We've addressed it. We just have had a bunch of plays, and we've had 4 or 5 trips inside the 5 where you get no points, and where we had a chance to put people away, you let people stay in the game, and next thing you know, you're in a battle, and it's disappointing, but can't do anything about it. Just go play better this week. And the other flip side of that is when we have done a good job of taking care of the ball, we have played some unbelievable football. Syracuse, Boston College. When we've done a nice job, we have really been a tough team to handle. And so hopefully, we can keep fighting. That's what we say. Kobe Bryant said one time, I'll go 0 for 30 before I go 0 for 11. Next one's going in, man. Next one's going in. Just keeping the right attitude, the right mindset. You can't worry about it. You can't play in fear. Go play. If we get a fumble, if we get a turnover, well, then let's try to get one back, and let's just keep responding. And in some of these games where we've had multiple turnovers, we've just been much better than the opponent, and we've been able to overcome it. And then some of these teams, we've been able to overcome it, because we got a few back. And the other night, we weren't able to do it because we couldn't put it all together.
Would you say the defenses have done a lot more this year than last year, trying to take away the run, bringing guys up?
I think so. I think people have tried to do a good job of defending Deshaun and Wayne, but we're built differently than we were last year too. We're a different team. Last year we had 4 freshmen at wideout: Renfro, Travion, Dion, and Ray, and Mike Williams gone. We were a different type of a team than last year, and this year we've got a bunch of guys out there, and there's been a lot of one-on-ones that have gone to Mike, and he's gonna be, this guy's gonna be a first-round draft pick. I mean, he's a great football player. And, just like the other night, I told you, there were about 30 run calls that turned into passes and were great plays. I mean, it was almost, I mean, it's one of the most unbelievable games by a quarterback. Outside of, a couple of plays, we're having a different conversation. It was spectacular how he managed that game. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Maybe the best throw of the night was the one Mike dropped, which was in that last drive. He just played lights out, and he's taking advantage of the things that they're giving us. They're cheating people into the box. They're giving up. You're going to give Renfro space. Well, he's going to go run for 8 or 9 yards. Well, we're probably not going to be able to hand it off and get 8 or 9 yards. To me, we are running the ball well. It's just sometimes it's a little different presentation. And then, the other night with Deshaun and his shoulder being sore, it wasn't a game where we were going to force the issue, especially with their style of play. Because it was just catch it and throw it, go make a play, and we did that all night.
How is Adrian Baker progressing? Do you still expect him to play this year?
I don't know. Again, as I said a couple weeks ago, he practices every day. He's over on the scout team, grinding, working, and getting better. But it's on him. He's released to play, but he's just not 100% confident yet with his explosiveness and being able to go compete with the guys who are playing. We'll see.
When you have had the opportunities to run the ball, how would you critique the run blocking this year?
We've been fine. We could be better at times. The biggest thing, we want to run the ball efficiently. Last week, Wayne averaged 6 point something a carry. That's kind of what we're looking for. And at times we've been really good. There's been sometimes not as good. Just like every other position on the field. But our offensive line has really done a heck of a job. We've thrown the ball a lot more this year, and we're, I think, second in the league in sacks.
Sacks allowed, yes.
Yeah, we're second in the league in sacks allowed. We haven't given up near as many sacks as we did last year, and we threw the ball less last year. And but the main thing is making sure that we are efficient. And there have been some times we've had we put them in some bad situations too, and didn't necessarily give them the best chance to be successful. So proud of those guys, man. It's a good group. It's a really good group, and you got one senior. You're talking about a bunch of young guys that are just going to continue. It's going to be a great offensive line for several years to come.
Coach, you touched on it a little bit, but what's the difference in these last 2 losses of yours between waiting 9 months to play again and waiting 7 days?
I feel like a basketball coach, I get to play, so they get to play in 2 days. We got to wait, a full week. But, that was a painful loss in the national championship game, and you know that you had a great team, and you know that you're not going to get a chance to play again until 9 months. You got to start over, and it's a new journey, and this week is different in that this is just a part of our journey. It's just that game is just a part of our journey. It's not the story it's done. We've got work to do, but we'll look back and it's hard to go undefeated. It really is. And if you look at the past, even Alabama last year, we both walked off the field 14-1. When they dropped the confetti on the Tide, nobody was ever going, yeah, but you lost to Ole Miss. They were handing them the trophy. So you just keep playing. Ohio State lost to Virginia Tech team early, and they just kept playing. Control what you control, and when the season was over, they won the national championship. Nobody's going, yeah, but you lost to Virginia. They handed them the trophy. All right. At the end of the year, when the journey is complete, you own every part of it. Then you can write the story. Then we can have new books, Larry. You can write a whole new book. You can write a whole new book, and you did a great job on that book that documented last year. You can write a whole new book, and guess what? The Pit will be a chapter of its own. And and hopefully there's no more bad chapters. Hopefully we can, grow from this. That's what we're trying to do. It's just all part of the journey for this team. And we'll see where we go. But our focus is just trying to go beat Wake Forest, win the division. And, Lord help us if we don't get it done, and if something happens and we get beat, well, now we're 9-2. And we know what? We're gonna come back, we're gonna try to get 10-2. That's just what we're gonna do. We're gonna always set our sights on trying to finish and take care of what's directly in front of us. Right now, it's Wake Forest trying to get better, and try to win this thing, man. We know it's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be it's our 5th night game on the road. Unbelievable. That's a first. So just a part of our journey. It's just a part of our journey for this year. We embrace it all. And, when it's all said and done, we'll look back and evaluate it all.
Have you got anything else?
All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.